Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing, wonderful, magical day. I want to start off by sharing with you that you are a genius. You are special. You mean the world and you are loved. Today's topic is the feeling is everything. The feeling is everything. And to get into this, I like to share with you that it is not just a couple of words that are thrown out there. The feeling is everything that sounds good and sounds like a hymn, and you're supposed to go to sleep and just not do anything. No. See, oftentimes the problem with life is we investigate and we read and we receive good information, a lot of insight. But oftentimes, the insight is what keeps us limited. And I like to represent this by sharing with you along my journey, whenever I had my first awakening, the idea of you are this way because of this event that happened to you. Oh, okay. So I am, my personality, this personality trait is like this because of this. That can oftentimes leave us very limited. And we can say, okay, we just keep living life, right? Waiting for our brain, our subconscious, to present more thoughts about why we are who we are. And along my journey after my first awakening, through the filter that I had created, that I was consciously deciding to set forth, which was thinking but not thinking. I did not accept to go into my interior. I thought it was wrong. It was limiting, and little did I know that is what was keeping me very limited. So along my journey, obviously, like many, what any human being wants is to create pleasantness within and pleasantness in their exterior world. And I went about doing this by getting a couple of mentors, right? Picking people that I wanted to listen to because I didn't have the answer. My parents didn't have the answer. And quite frankly, I didn't really know who did. So the only other option in this case was either A, books, or B, internet. And I did the later. So my mentors right off the back became Bob Proctor, Sadhguru, Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters. And there was a couple key things that all of them were kind of touching. And especially if we're talking about in the realm of manifesting, law of attraction, and what is Sadhguru's number one vision is to help show all the people on the planet that to take charge of that power that that we all have inside to create pleasantness, because what is a possibility and it always will be, and that possibility should be manifested. And again, I believe, as my mentor does, what we all want is to create pleasantness within and pleasantness externally. And this to me translated into, well, how am I going to calibrate all of my systems to be at optimal level to produce at the fullest and reap the best results? And then lastly, create the life that I want and live out my dream. So what is my dream? To create, to help elevate the collective consciousness. So I started my journey and started living through the heart, and it was a blessing because I was in a very dark place, and I was very lost, and I could understand why my parents were how they were. I basically lost all touch with all family members, and all of this, I call it the dark night of the soul. It was that transition, like the phoenix. I burned up. I engulfed myself in my own flame, suicide, and from those ashes, I was reborn. So this is simply, that's all mystical and sounds kind of corny, but in essence what I did was just let go of my old way of thinking, or the lack thereof. And the best way to say this is to explain that to dive into yourself is very important. To raise your awareness isn't going to bring me any benefits, or the only person, let me digress, the only person that's going to benefit is you. You knowing a little bit more about yourself. You realizing how your past experiences are recorded in the brain. You realizing what a paradigm is, how your emotions are affected, how thoughts of the future or the past affect your present state. Epigenetics, epi means above the genes. Stress, long-term effects of stress downregulate and downregulate genes and create disease, long-term effects. So this means that because the size of the neocortex, we can turn the stress response by thought alone. So we think about a problem, and I am living that current situation in the present. So I started receiving all this information. And sure, I can understand, I can conclude that there's different levels of conscious, right? So we can say, I like to just think about it in simple terms. How much of your day do you spend utilizing your non-physical dimensions? So thought, imagination, emotion, etc. How much of your day are you living through those non-physical interior intelligence and consciously activating them, consciously doing something? So I like to think about consciousness in two ways, and this is something new that I'm starting to build. But one is literal action. That's the most important fundamental. That's fundamental. Is how much activity do you want to create internally, and then the second is to what degree, because we can take it to thoughts, and we can think negative thoughts and then positive thoughts, right? We have the vibrations, different vibrations, love being the highest, hate probably being the least powerful, and all of this, I was like, okay, I started running. I didn't even have legs, right? I was actually blind, and then my eyes were open. As soon as my eyes were opened, my legs were cut off, and then I started crawling, and then I started being able to walk, and then I started running. But what changed my life, and what really has changed the people that I share this, my passion with, is creating an elevated emotion for many, many reasons, and I'll share with you a couple of reasons why creating an elevated emotion is the secret to your life. And let me give you my backstory. So, never had parents. Mother, the story goes, was a drug addict, a prostitute, and beyond that, giving up, I was physically abused, mentally abused, every type of abuse that you can think of happened. And then I was in a foster home. Then I was adopted by the people whom I call parents, right? So that was just my upbringing. And now that I know, every experience in my external world creates a neurological network in my brain. That's fundamental. Beyond that, experiences that are very energetic, very emotional, create larger neural networks. These are what we call long-term memories. So I didn't live the worst life, and I don't share this to receive pity, because I'm so grateful having learned what I have learned because of my upbringing. But what I learned was, man, like, I have a bigger uphill battle than some people, simply because I lived through trauma for the first 7 years of my life. Those are very emotional, very energetic situations, experiences for anybody. So what does this mean? I'm not just talking pity and emotions. No, I'm talking about cold hard facts, that these energetic situations create neural networks in the brain. The more traumatic means, in other words, the more energetic, the more emotional these experiences are, the larger neural networks. So now my future, if I'm not waking up to a vision of the future, the moment I wake up, I am already in the past, because I'm not conscious. So now I'm thinking through my emotions, and my emotions are being brought from my past, because every thought, the size of the neocortex, relates those thoughts. So being then where I am now, elevating myself, creating an emotional state that I desire, it's liberating. I liberate myself from thoughts of the future that can be negative, and also my past, because the moment my attention goes to somewhere that is not my present, if I'm not being conscious, my energy is being siphoned to that present reality, and I'm in the past. I am unlocking a paradigm. I'm unlocking that box. So being conscious of this has been so liberating, and it is quite the gift, because you can really move forward, because what gets you up in the morning is your energy. What allows you to speak to the man or woman that you want is your energy. The human energy is called, we call it emotion. If you're happy, you're bouncing off the walls, you'll do whatever it takes to get where you want. But if you're sad, you kind of look like this, you're slumped, you just don't have energy to move forward. So the emotion is fundamental. It is my foundation. Not because I'm weak, not because I live through, no. I mean, I look at it as a gift, as a strength, that I am able to maintain an elevated emotion, and then B, have the intelligence of what is happening internally if I am not doing this? That's how you should look at life. You need to look at the facts. You need to look at what is the physiology of the human being? How does the human being operate? What is the paradigm? What are thoughts, unconscious thoughts? What are memories? And understand that if you're not waking up to a vision of the future, your brain is the map of the past. The moment you turn on where you want to go, your brain starts to create new synaptic connections. What does this mean? Now you no longer are living with a map of the past, but you carry a map of the future. And lastly, what I'd like to share with you is a little bit of the manifesting side of creating an elevated emotion. Understand this: the basis of human life is emotional, is chemical. Every experience you have with your external world, with every person, is going to create an emotion. Every experience you have with your internal, external world is going to create a neurological network. The moment you ignite a feeling of love, you no longer are bound to receive love. You are creating love. The moment you feel whole, you are creating blissfulness and healing in your body. The moment you feel empowered, you are creating wealth. This is the new model of reality. This is the quantum model of reality. That my emotions and my thoughts change an outcome in my future. What does Bob Proctor talk about? Paradigm. Paradigm. What's the best way to change your paradigm is to ignite, create an elevated emotion. Why? Because what you want, whether it be money, a house, a dream job, a gift, a partner, whatever you want with your exterior world, relates in emotion, causes chemicals inside of you that we call emotion. So what the body knows is chemicals. The brain knows. The brain is intelligent. Says, "Oh, I am feeling these chemicals because I received $1 million." But the body doesn't know $1 million. It knows what the cause was, what effect that $1 million has, and the effect is a chemical that we will call empowerment, call happiness, excitement, power, etc., etc. So why is emotion? Why is the feeling the key? So there's evidence to show that the human life is chemical. The moment you turn on the feeling of that situation that has not yet occurred, you are a match to that vibration. Again, you ignite, you feel whole, happy, loved, powerful. You are already a vibrational match to that reality. And the question of obtaining it is actually a question. You can actually think about how you're going to go about it because you already feel that future reality that you want to manifest in the present. And the hard thing for the human being is to feel yourself right now in the present moment, the reality that you're waiting to manifest. Not because hippie jumbo, not because you're a guru, not because you want to be spiritual, simply because you want to create the life that you want. And you have, I would imagine, having the knowledge, you would apply the knowledge to reap the biggest fruits for your life. So remember, the feeling is everything. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please comment below what topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. And also share this video with your social media, parents, family, partner, mastermind group. Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I hope to see you in the side of light. Goodbye.